You've been to the French Open final. Your breakthrough, at least standout result at the beginning of your career, was on grass against Venus. You've been very solid on the hard courts. Is there a slam in particular that you go, I think that's, if I'm going to get one, the first one might come here, there, or where?
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I'm like, I think this is the first one. So I don't know. I mean, obviously now going to the French, I do have a lot of confidence on the surface. But I'm not really thinking about that. I feel like, in the past I was, and it gave me some like defeats that I feel like I shouldn't have lost, maybe more so my head. So going in now, I mean, I feel like, everyone could be the one, but I think I have to just take it a match at a time and just feel it out and enjoy it. I think when you focus too much on the destination, you don't enjoy the journey there. So now I want to focus more on the journey, and if the destination gets there, that's great.
Coco Gauff and Karolina Muchova, will contest the final in Beijing. Somebody's looking at me.
Yes, here because of tennis.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
You like tennis?
I play tennis very well.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Very well.
Very well, yeah.
Well, this is called Talking Tennis, and we are a YouTube channel, podcast, and website. We cover professional tennis and a little bit of amateur stuff too.
Good.
Yeah.
We must
Go. See you. Anyway, Karolina Muchova, Coco Gauff will contest the final in Beijing. I think I've got that right. At sometime tomorrow morning, I guess, Central European time. After wins today over Paula Badosa in 3 sets, and in the case of Muchova, straight sets win over Qinwen Zheng. Were you surprised by either of those 2 results, Damien?
There's no surprises at this stage of the event. I mean, literally both matches were just completely random, and whoever delivers on the day and stuff. It's great that Muchova will get to have that chance, at actually picking up the title for the first time since 5 years. I mean, how is this even possible? I really don't get that. And I mean Coco has had some brutal...
She's probably played 2 years of tennis in that time, though, right?
That's true. I mean, she definitely had some moments when she was just like out for almost the entire year, but still, I would say that she played enough for a title to appear at some point. Of course, she played 4 finals since or something like that. One of them a Grand Slam, one of them at the WTA 1000 level, 250 or something like that this year, right? So yeah, I mean, definitely there were some opportunities, and tomorrow is going to be as good a chance as she can get. Although she obviously lost to Coco in her previous WTA 1000 final and also in a US Open semi-final. So not like it's going to be easy.
Yeah, what is the head-to-head between them? Do you know off the top of your head?
Not really. I haven't checked that. I just know these 2 matches. I just know these 2 matches that she lost to Coco, which probably, I don't think they've played 10 times.
That is it.
I think it's most of their head-to-head.
Those 2. Just those 2. And in fact, my thoughts ahead of this are kind of influenced by the head-to-head. And I don't know, I just feel as though Muchova might run into some trouble or might run out of steam, or the fact that she's only won 1 title might come into play. Experience of winning big things can only help Coco, I think, albeit that everything else probably leans towards Muchova.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important to remember that these 2 wins happened in like literally 4 weeks. And that was some of the best weeks of Coco's career. So I don't really know if the head-to-head matters all that much. Like, is Gauff a little less sort of vulnerable to Muchova's game than a power hitter would be, than someone like Sabalenka is, and everybody else? Probably. But yeah, I mean, maybe the head-to-head isn't that much of an advantage, given that, yeah, it happened during that time when Coco was beating literally anybody. And we all know that she's not exactly like that since then. But yeah, certainly some nerves could be a thing. Muchova has had a few finals, as I mentioned, lost them. 5 years is a very long time, and she might kind of want that really good stamp on her record and everything. I mean, pretty much secured the Australian Open seeding, and yeah, there's basically lots to win for Muchova here. Perhaps even more. I mean, there's probably more at stake for her than for Gauff.
Yeah, I think you're right. But possibly I've talked myself into leaning towards Coco and tipping her to win, and I guess I'll go for 3 sets.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the penultimate final of the 1,000 events, certainly on the women's side, between Muchova and Coco Gauff. You got me, James, and Matt, who is below me on your screen at the moment. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty okay. Pretty okay. But how do you see this? I'll go straight in first of all. How do you see this match potentially going?
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting one because going off the tournament, I think most people would say that Muchova's been the standout player. I mean, she's brush pressed pretty much everyone. I mean, the closest match she had was against Sabalenka, who is arguably the best player in the world right now, and she just has such a good record against Sabalenka. And yeah, I think Gauff's run's been a bit more interesting. A lot of close matches, a lot of the times where she probably looked like she was going out against Badosa and Osaka particularly. But the thing that Gauff has is that she has won plenty of titles and Muchova's only got the one to her name. So it'll be interesting to see how the final dynamic plays into this.
Yeah, I mean, you raise a good point in terms of both players have had, stylistically, or at least when it comes to how they've got here, almost like 2 polar opposite routes to the final. You've had Muchova, who has just been able to beat players that have been ranked higher than her constantly throughout this tournament, and in quite impressive styling, as you say. That Sabalenka win in the quarterfinal, I mean, that was just out of this. It's certainly out of this world in terms of that performance, and also to say that she was a breakdown in that third set against somebody with the serve of Sabalenka, was just brilliant, and is really showing why she was a top 10 player, why she is somebody who has got 2 Grand Slam finals in the recent past. But as you say, Coco Gauff, on the other hand, realistically should have gone out to Osaka, as you say, in the fourth round for that contest there, and then against Badosa, if Badosa stayed more solid in large parts of that match, she would have probably won that match against Coco as well.
Yeah, but I think a lot of credit has to go to Coco and how she has really fought and adapted to these matches and kept fighting, because she was even set down to Stardom save at the qualifier. So it's been an impressive week considering her relatively poor North American hardcore swing.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, as anyone who probably listened to the preview video that Damien and John did yesterday, and we played a little bit at the start of this video here, that swing, I mean, it swept Muchova up quite in 2 quite key matches, along that way, in both the final in Cincinnati, and I believe it was also the semi-final at the US Open. I think I'm correct on that one. Yeah. I hope I'm correct on that one. And that was, as you say, last year, what she did in that swing, winning Washington and Cincinnati, then the US Open, and she hasn't been able to deliver anywhere near those types of performances over that US season. But as I think Ghost is pointing out in the chat there about him hearing some other commentators maybe on the TV and whatnot saying that she's probably hitting a little bit more freer. She knows that she doesn't have those points to defend anymore. And she's just here to try and do the best she can, certainly between now and the end of the season. Guarantee herself a place in Riyadh, if possible for her. But generally, here having a great chance to potentially pick up a second 1,000 title, which given the season that she's had, would be a fantastic way to certainly end the season, a bit like how Iga had a little bit of after the French Open in 23, really kind of fell away a little bit, but managed to win Beijing, and that really set her up well for going into the 24 season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, about Gauff saying that she's hitting free, I really noticed that against Badosa from what I saw of that match, and I can't remember the exact winner count, but Gauff's winner count was pretty significantly higher than Badosa's, which I don't think you'd expect going into that match, and even the forehand was causing some damage. So it definitely seems like some things have been tweaked since she split from Brad Gilbert.
I mean, I know she's working. Do you remember the coach's name again? Did you just say it?
No, that's why I went with split from Brad Gilbert. I have heard the name, but I'm like, yeah.
I'm so sorry, anyone who was listening to this and would think that we were going to have the exact name and nationality and his age and his national insurance number of the coach, but we completely forgot it. We'll have a look it up.
I'm sure the chat will help us.
Yeah, but we'll have the mechanicist or the mechanist.
Here we are, Matt Daly.
Matt Daly is the mechanist for Coco, as she's looking to really make changes to the style and the way in which she is working on that serve and forehand. And
she's already... Go on.
Oh, she is on. She nearly got. She had a break point there, but Muchova just hit a brilliant ace down the tee to see that off. I mean, that literally was just finding the corner there of that piece of paper. Yeah, but they say that she's that playing with that freeness. She knows that she's going into this part of the season just trying out different things, and it's not about the results. It's there's a classic saying that we hear, which is process, not outcomes. And at the moment, it's all about her just trying to get a better grip of her serve, get a better grip of her forehand to make sure that it doesn't fall away, especially that second serve. Granted, we've seen a lot of the issues. I mean, there was the amount of double faults she had in that Badosa game. I mean, you could pretty much win an entire set's worth of tennis with the amount of double faults she gave away.
Yeah, I mean, even there, she hit a nice forehand winner, and it's just I just don't think she would have even had the confidence to go for some of these forehand winners previously. I mean, maybe that was because she was running up to it, but I just think it's been a mindset change as much as a technique change, and yeah, it's nice to see, because I think everyone knows that about Coco Gauff's potential and already what she's achieved, but when you've got such a big weakness and something that everyone is talking about, it must be quite a lot to deal with, especially as a young 20-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, somebody, most tennis players, even women tennis players, who traditionally can come onto the circuit a lot sooner than their male counterparts. Somebody in their 20s usually would have only been on the tour for a couple of years, and if they got into, say, the top 10, it would have been outstanding. Never mind actually, coming onto the tour at the age of 15 and winning a Grand Slam in your teens. I mean, the amount of pressure that's been placed on her shoulders, especially with the sort of title as the heir apparent to Serena and Venus, in the American tennis circuit. It can be very telling for a player, and especially somebody as young as Coco still is, and it's still hard to remember. It's still hard to believe that given how long she's been on the circuit, that she is only 20 years of age.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that is also down to the way she holds herself. I think she speaks way beyond her years and just carries herself way beyond her years, and maybe that is down to her already vast experience on the tour at just 20. And yeah, I think a lot of people have predicted massive things for Gauff, and maybe she will achieve them, but she's already won the US Open, and that's a lot more than a lot of players can say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic American saying, but she's already on the verge of potentially having a Hall of Fame style career, and she hasn't even hit the age of 21. Yeah. But because of those lofty expectations that not only did we put on her, or areas of the traditional tennis media put on her, but then also herself with what she's been saying in press conferences, the idea that she's going to go for double-digit slams, pretty much become one of the, certainly one of the all-time greats of the sport. At least that's what she, vocalizing that aspiration. It sometimes can be seen as a little bit of a downer if you only achieve less than that. But still, what she's done, I think 99.9% of the tour, would give their left kidney for it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that she said that she wanted to go for double digits. I like when players kind of be real and say what they actually want to achieve. But I'm surprised that she said that, given that she knew how much pressure that would put on herself. But it's definitely not out of the question. I think she's still only 20, like we've mentioned.
But she has just got the first break. Muchova came to the net, went for a slice down the line backhand, and it just floated long. So Coco Gauff is already in the driving seat, or certainly is first advantage to Coco in this set.
Yeah, and it was just showing a stat there about their final record in tour finals anyway, and Gauff has won 7 out of her 8 previous finals, and Muchova's only won 1 of 5. So there's definitely a bit of a difference there.
I guess the only final she lost was the Iga Swiatek one in 22, wasn't it? The French.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I suppose that included in the. I can't tell if it means the tour or just the whole package. It's hard to see what that stat's trying to say.
Usually, those stats do include Grand Slam finals as well. Because that's counted as the main tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to say that you played 8 finals and the only one you lost to was probably one of the greatest clay court players, that's probably going to ever see. Not bad going, you'd say.
No, not at all. I mean, Muchova, I'm trying to think of her finals. Obviously, lost to Gauff in Cincinnati. The close French Open final with Swiatek as well. But yeah, and more recently, I think Palermo, she lost to Zheng, but that was kind of very early in her comeback. So
that was a cracking match. That Zheng match.
Good. I caught that.
That could have gone either way. That match in Palermo, and I'm sure the tournament organisers were very happy at the fact that not only did their top 10 defending champion get to the final, but then also Muchova got to the final as well. Somebody else who has strong name recognition. You don't usually get that in 250s. I mean, we've certainly seen in recent weeks that you get somebody, you can have players ranked 150 in the world versus 130 in the world at some 250s. So to get that sort of final and that sort of quality, I'm sure Palermo were very happy about that.
Yes, especially as a clay court post Wimbledon 250. They usually get weaker fields, but I suppose with the Olympics this year, it had a bit of a different feel. But that was a very comfortable hold there for Gauff, and it's been a very strong start. It's kind of interesting.
Free love. She's already halfway potentially to taking the first set. She looks locked and loaded at the moment. As we're saying, she has that incredibly strong final record, and she's looking to continue it. Whereas, as you say, Muchova, maybe a little bit, certainly a final scar tissue on her. I mean, I'm probably going to sound terrible. Do you remember what was the one title that Muchova has won?
Our producer mentioned it in the chat. It was Seoul in 2019. So that he saved us there.
Thank you. Thanks, John. As we can probably see below Matt again, we've now gone to 10,900 subscribers.
Lovely.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone who has subscribed. That's fantastic to see. If you could like the video, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't already, just to sort of, give you a happy reaction to the fact we're at 10,900, nearly 11,000 subscribers. We are certainly working our way towards. What's the next stadium milestone? I wish I could usually pull out a bag. Go Court 1 at Wimbledon, which has around about 12,000 subscribers. 12,000 seats.
Yeah, I believe that is actually. I do know.
Yeah,
it's 1,200.
That's
1,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it goes like that. Someone told me that once. So it's 12,345, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so just shy of 1,200, 12,500 seats. Wow. Okay, that is what we want to get to next. And then, of course, the big thing is that we can get over 23,000, and then that's the size of the Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Yeah, that's the dream. I mean, I do believe there was a stat of viewers are not subscribed, so. If you're viewing and you're not subscribed, you know exactly what to do.
It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out a lot.
Exactly. And we can make more
And also
content.
the classic thing, and I always like to Yeah, I always like to nick this line from Jeremy Johns, but comment below and let us know stuff. As at the moment, Gauff just hit the net, so Muchova's looking like she's having an okay start to this set. I mean, it has felt kind of weird, certainly the Beijing tournament, in terms of the length of time in which it's gone on for. I mean, you know, it feels like we've been in Beijing forever, almost.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it's to do with the fact that there was a women's and men's tournament starting at the same time. Well, the women's tournament actually started before, and then the men's 500 finished before. So it felt very strange. I don't love the 12-day events. I think they drag too much. But in terms of the quality of the tennis, I think it's been good, really good. I've enjoyed it. I quite like the Asian swing. I think it provides a bit more of a fresher feel, because obviously sometimes after the Grand Slam season's over, you can kind of drag. But the Asian swing provides a bit of a unique feel to the tour, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, certainly with their sort of main stadiums, they've got a unique styling, haven't they? Which is almost like this ring effect that they have around the outside of it. I mean, you know, you look at the center courts for Beijing, Shanghai, even Zhanghao, and I think another one as well. I think Wuhan as well has a similar styling. It's this sort of like, you know, ring. So you've got full circles, tennis courts in the middle, expensive corporate seats just in the bottom tier, little like boxes in the ring, and then these large stands that sort of eke out over the circle.
Yeah, I mean, I think these Chinese, and particularly the Chinese stadiums, have a real wow factor to a lot of them. I mean, they really do go all out. Obviously, the Beijing was used for the Olympics in 2008, so it's kind of got a lot to it. But yeah, I've been impressed.
Oh, it's not going to get that. Oh, she doesn't get to it. That's a brilliant bit of net play by Muchova on that one there. Yeah, I certainly agree on that one. And as you say, it's the last. You know, we'll usually after the US Open, we go straight into indoor hard courts. So to be able to spend a little bit, just an extra month or so outdoors on the hard courts, it's just not too bad for tennis, really.
Yeah, and I suppose another exciting thing about this part of the season is the race, because these Wuhan and Beijing are the last two big opportunities for players still in contention to get big ranking points. So there's that extra dynamic, and Badosa has really jumped leaps and bounds, and actually is still in contention to qualify for the finals, which is incredible considering.
Shall I just go through? I mean, just as Muchova at the moment is looking pretty solid to potentially hold her serve here to get her first game of the match. Just so everyone's on the same page, or at least everyone in the chat and people who are watching at home, which I'm glad to see. We've got over 100 people already, which is fantastic for this final. Swiatek and Sabalenka are both already qualified for Riyadh. Both have got over 8,000 points. It's actually it's one of the big underlying stories actually between now and the end of the season, is that who is going to get the coveted end of year number one. I mean, at the moment, you'd say, given the fact that Swiatek is not playing Wuhan, that Sabalenka is in the driving seat. She's currently only just under 200 points behind, so gets the quarters or semis in Wuhan, and she overtakes Swiatek in the race, and then that will probably then lead to, once Swiatek's points from winning the WTA Finals last year come off, that Sabalenka is in a strong position to potentially to get that win. But then going down next, you've got. Oh, just quickly, actually, who do you think will finish year-end number one?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Sabalenka. Merely, I mean, I think I'd have probably said it anyway. I think Swiatek has a lot of points to defend throughout the rest of this year, and also the fact that she's not playing now makes it even more of a task for her. The finals are 1,500 points for Swiatek. I'm not exactly sure how many Sabalenka, but it's definitely less. And I think Sabalenka will be the favourite to win the finals this year. So yeah, I think Sabalenka is who I'm going to go for.
Yeah, I would certainly favour that as well. I mean, it took an almighty performance from Muchova to beat her here, and you would probably say it's a brilliant smash by Gauff at the net there. Muchova doing all she can from the back of the court to continue to get that ball back to Gauff. But just in the end, Gauff is able to sell her a dummy and hit a brilliant smash. And actually, it was a very hard smash to go for because she was constantly kept on having to go backwards, or at least walk backwards or run backwards to try and get that smash. So pretty good going there. But like you say, I would have, if it weren't for that inspired performance by Muchova, then you probably would say, Gauff there with bringing out the classics with a brilliant backhand down the line, or at least outside in backhand to get that win, to get that point there. She's currently 30 love up. You would say, like I said, Sabalenka you'd have favoured potentially to win Wuhan because where she's still undefeated, winning the last 2 iterations of the tournament back before COVID. So she'll be in prime position to try and win that title. But going on, like I said, so at the moment, Rybakina is sitting in 3rd with she's only 500 points off automatic qualification. But as you'd expect for that qualification bar to continue to go down, Rybakina will probably end up automatically getting in. But there's big questions around if she's actually going to be able to. Is she's fit enough to play at all? I mean, do you see her playing in the finals?
Honestly, no. I think she probably could play. I actually think it might be better for her just to take the rest of the season off and just start fresh next year, have the time just to deal with whatever's been going on. Like, there's a lot of speculation, but it's not really helpful to speculate. I think to be honest, she just needs to deal with whatever's going on and sort of just start 2025 afresh, because the thing is, everyone's been talking about how little they've seen Rebecca and how many retirements and withdrawals. She's still 3rd in the race, and that shows how impressive she is when she is playing. So I think if she has that time to sort of deal with everything and heal and whatever, then 2025 she could come out flying.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, she's the only one really this year that has basically gone toe-to-toe with both Iga and Arena and looked very capable. Well, she has beat them, and I think a couple of them she's beaten multiple times this year. So she's very much is in a position where she could, but where she should. I mean, we were sort of like, what's the word we're trying to find here? We were almost like bigging up at the start of the season, especially after. I mean, that Brisbane final will live in my head for a while, and just the way she absolutely demolished Arena. I mean, that is a performance that of somebody who is one of the best in the world and that just needs a run of form to be able to do that at the big events, not just necessarily winning a 500 every single month as she was kind of famed for doing for the first half of the season. But like you say, she needs to take the rest of the year off, then do so. It looks at the moment that she's having a good time in Kazakhstan, which is excellent to see on her social media. But yeah, that's a fun one on that one. So as we're saying, so 4-1 at the moment over there. Just to go through some other players who are looking all right. Jasmine Paolini, she's currently sitting on a similar number of points as Rybakina. You'd probably say she has a couple of good runs. She'll get her qualifications sorted. Then you got Coco Gauff, who could potentially actually overtake Paolini in the race this week if she wins today's final, and pretty much by that point guarantee herself a position in Riyadh. And then you got Pegula, who's currently sitting in 6th with 4,500. Then you've got a bit of a gap, and this is probably where that 7th, because of what's happening with Barbora Krejcikova winning Wimbledon, and it looks as though Barbora is going to finish in the top 20. She will get that 8th position automatically, regardless of where she ends up finishing in that top 20. But so 7th is almost the last position, currently occupied by Emma Navarro. But as you say, Qinwen Zheng is breathing down her neck, only less than 100 points behind. And we're going into, as you say, another huge tournament that Qinwen will try and do very well in. And then you've got Daniel Collins, who's a further 300 points behind that. And then you would probably say it's going to be between either Navarro, Zheng, or Collins to get that 7th position. Would you tend to agree with that statement?
Yeah, and I don't really think Collins, which I don't think she's playing Wuhan, and I don't think really the finals are an ambition for Collins. So I think I would kind of rule her out as such. It's kind of, she started this year on fire and it's kind of teetered off a little bit. So I think maybe the Billie Jean King Cup finals will be the perfect way to see it out for Collins. But I think really it's Zheng and Navarro and potentially an outsider Badosa. But I think she'd have to have a really good tournament in Wuhan.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's I think it's very much between Navarro and Zheng to get that final position, and given the fact that we're in China pretty much now to the end of the year, you'd favour that home support to be enough to, as Gauff here has 3 more break points to potentially go 5-1 up. Wow, this is a completely different match to how the Muchova matches have gone previously.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but that's tennis for you.
Yeah, that is tennis. It's all about matchups. You could have the best matchup in the world against the world number 1, but if your matchup is terrible against the world number 75, you're going to keep on losing that match.
And as Ghost mentioned previously, Gauff is moving so well today. It's one of her strengths, but it's really on show.
Oh, up the line, and it's brilliant up the line there by Gauff. 5-1. Right, okay, so we are on the verge at the moment by the looks of it. Coco Gauff picking up the first set. She's 1 game away in 24 minutes.
Yeah, 14 out of the last 18 points. It's been very impressive from Gauff.
This is domination.
And it's just
domination.
I don't think she's lost the first set in, is it the last 3 matches? I can't remember exactly, but she lost the first set against Badosa, first set against Stardovtseva and Osaka, and today she's racing through the first set, which I think is actually important for her. I think it'd be a lot more of a big test to come back against Muchova.
Yeah, it would. She's currently just giving away the first point. She just hit a backhand long there. We're about to say, I mean, I've had something to eat before this because I didn't expect this to go 3 hours, or at least certainly to be a little bit, certainly at least 2 hour plus. I don't expect the first set to be done in half an hour.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a quick one, and it still might not be. But Gauff is definitely looking very good so far. And Muchova's not really found her stride yet, as she has so far in this tournament. And a lot of that, I think, is down to Gauff.
I mean, those serves out wide that she does are just fantastic. I mean, that point there just showed it. Great serve out wide, puts Muchova right out, pretty much into the first row of the fans, and then is able to come in on the third ball.
That serve is really firing today.
And as Ghost is pointing out, Alcaraz versus Wu is just about to kick off in Shanghai, which unfortunately has been really badly rain affected today.
Yeah, that tournament is struggling because they've got players in the 3rd round and players also still in the 1st, so it's not ideal.
Yeah, what was it? Sinner and Medvedev are already in the 4th round, and players are still yet to play the 2nd round matches.
Yeah, it's not great, but.
Well, at least I'll tell you what. I think the TV organisers have been pretty happy at the fact that both their matches today went 2.5 hours plus.
Yes,
because it filled all the airtime before the night session.
Yes, they've already been pushed by Echeverry today.
Or was that in? Was that out? That was in. I think it was. Yeah, it was in.
Clip the line.
Okay, so 2nd set point for Gauff. Even though Muchova did very well there on that point, you'd expect Gauff to potentially take this here. She did a brilliant ace from the outside of the court last time they were there. Up in the air, goes or tries to go the same direction, hits the net, 2nd serve, so maybe a little bit more peril on this. Oh, that was. Oh, these are just in balls. Cross court, Muchova's kind of in charge at the moment. Does a brilliant drop shot. And Gauff is unable to get any real purchase on that one. So we are back to juice. Well, I'll say back to juice. We are to juice. Muchova just saying, I'm not going to give you this set just that easily, Coco. I've still got intentions of doing something, yeah? Or at least trying to build a little bit of momentum going into the 2nd set.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's important for her not to just accept that this set has gone badly. I think she needs to, really try and figure out how to play against Gauff.
Mm.
Goodness me, that is not what we've been seeing so far.
It's got a little bit tight here. It's got a little bit tight, but let's see what happens with this 2nd serve. Oh, wow.
That was poor.
that what you saw when you said, "Oh, we're expecting this"? Ah, okay. So you're a little bit ahead. You're a little bit ahead of me there.
Yeah, which is rare because I'm always behind people, but I'll take it.
So Muchova here with the break point. And buries it in the net. Never mind. Back to Juice. Bit of a gift there for Coco. Muchova must have thought it was Coco's birthday with how big that gift was. Ross. Oh, excellent serve out wide.
That's what you were talking about. It's so good.
Locked and loaded at the moment. Good shot of this camera stands. I love the fact that you've got, this high intent. Oh, it goes up the line. I will say my funny comment later on. Cross court, and there is the first set to the American number 2. Well, that was not what any of us were expecting. At least I didn't expect it. Matt, did you expect that first set to go as quickly as it did?
Not at all. No. I mean, I was expecting this match to be really, really close, and it's been anything but really. Gauff has been so dominant. The serve, other than that one terrible double fault, it's been really, really strong. 86% first serve percentage, it says there, and winning 84% of those points. I mean, it's just been a big, big strength for Gauff.
It's just been and nothing else to say than a player playing incredibly well, and at the moment looks like she's pretty much on course to win this title, to pick up her second ever WTA 1000 event title.
Yeah, I mean, and what start would be with her new partnership with her new coach, and it really shut down the haters, I think, after the US Open. And it would also be her second title of the year, first since Auckland at the start of the season.
Yeah, a title in Auckland that she's become quite accustomed to winning. It was she defended the title this year.
Yeah,
it's she uses Auckland as a build up to the Aussie Open. It's a really good tournament, Auckland, even if it is in a terrible time zone for me.
Yeah, it's been struggling with the rain a bit in the past couple of years, but.
Yeah. Oh, do you I remember what was it? Yeah, there were some tournaments where they had to do entire rounds indoors to try and finish it off.
Yeah, and I think it caused a few injuries with Venus and Emma Raducanu.
Yeah, it pretty much derailed, I think, both their 2 Australian summers.
Yeah, exactly. So it was not ideal, but it's definitely a nice tournament. And I think, I don't know if Gauff's been announced to play there again next year, but some players have been announced for that tournament already next year.
It's good to see Super Dave, our favourite Texan-based coach, in the chat. I say favourite on that one there, and you're surprised that Coco is already set up. Yeah, it's been very quick succession for Coco. If you're a huge Coco fan, Dave, then you'll be very happy about that. Or if you're a Muchova fan, you won't be so happy with that. We wouldn't necessarily say Muchova is struggling. It's just very much as though the tactics currently being deployed by Gauff seem to be working. Would you say that'd be a fair assessment, Matt?
Yeah, I don't think it's kind of one or the other. I don't think Muchova's playing her best level and the level she's played all week, but she's not gifting the match to Gauff. Gauff is very much earning these points, and her movement has been excellent. Her serve's been very strong, and Muchova's just not really know what to do with it. So whether she's taken time in that set break to kind of think about how she's going to adapt, because that's what we said that's been so good about Gauff in Beijing, how well she's been able to adapt, and now Muchova's got to be the one to do that.
Ball goes cross court on that one there, just on out on that point.
I think Muchova has to hold this game, because if Gauff carries on the rallying through the games, then it's difficult to see how Muchova's going to stay with it.
I agree. I mean, she needs to at least hold her serve for a while. Yeah, not necessarily. And then say that as she hits a backhand long. I mean, geez, come on, Muchova. I mean, could a big question be the fact that the rally balls that she's getting from Gauff are nowhere near as powerful as, say, the rally balls that she was experiencing in the last 2 matches. And as such, her having to add more power is actually causing maybe a few more mistakes.
Yes, perhaps, because she's having to really force the play. Whereas against like Sabalenka, it's kind of all about reactions and the power's already there. You've got the power to work with, but Gauff isn't necessarily as hard of a hitter. But that point there is much more what we need to be seeing, really using that out wide serve and coming into the net.
Sort of channel her inner Maxine Cressy almost and really hug the net where she can.
Yeah, she needs to be proactive and not reactive, I think.
Up in the air, where's it going to go? She goes for a score. Backhand by Gauff. Oh, just on the line. Well done, Gauff. Gauff goes for the drop shot. Muchova just about gets to it. Gauff goes down the line. Muchova is able to put it away with a overhead backhand. Maybe, unfortunately for Gauff, there wasn't enough pace on that attempted forehand down the line winner, and as such, Muchova had plenty of time to be able to get to it. I mean, it was quite an awkward ball. It was right to the feet of Gauff.
Yep.
Yeah, and also the original drop shot, was probably a little bit too readable and not enough time in which it dropped down.
This would be big though if Muchova could get a nice, comfortable hold to start this second set.
Oh, did she get to that just? Brilliant ball there by Muchova. Able to hold her serve there. She'll be very happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. And was actually the thing on my screen is actually saying that Gauff won 94% of her first serves in the first set. So that is ridiculously high.
Yikes! That is game-winning numbers.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing you can do about that when you're winning that many points. I mean, some of them arguably came from enforced errors, but yeah.
I mean, high 70s first serves in with 94% conversion rates in your first serves. I mean, that is fantastic.
Yeah, it really shows the difference that's already been made to her serve. I think some of it is confidence. I think having that fresh start, so it'll be interesting to see if it like prolongs, but her confidence definitely is not going to drop if she wins this title because she's playing fantastic stuff.
Oh, and Muchova hits the net on that one there. And I've just seen, I think I just saw flying through my phone that Ayla Tomljanovic has won the Hong Kong 125 event, which is taking place at the same week as the second week in Beijing.
Nice. I think she'll be back in the top 100 as well. So it's nice to see. Interesting that we were mentioning Emma Navarro earlier about in the race. She actually played that tournament as the top seed and I think lost in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. My understanding is that WTA 125s don't count towards the race numbers as well.
Yeah, which is what I don't understand, unless she's really low on confidence. But
I guess a lot of it is just wanting to keep on. I mean, for her, her entire game is built around winning as many matches as possible.
Yeah.
So for her, sitting out a week is not something that she wants to do. She wants to continue to keep on playing. I mean, it was one of the things in which got her a lot of stick online, I would say, but or a lot of funny comments online was the fact that when she broke into top 50, top 30, she was still regularly playing the 125s.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's up to her. She wants to play those tournaments, and it's just, I suppose, the disappointing thing that she'll probably, the expectation for a top 10 player now is to win those tournaments easily, and she obviously did not do that. But then again, it just shows the depth on the tour.
I mean, I know there's some, there's set some rules around potentially. I mean, maybe the WTA could follow suit from the ATP when it came to the introduction of the Super Challengers to try and give players, tournaments that they can go and play against similar sort of ranked individuals in that second week of the Masters events.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine that many players would have expected to see a top 10 player of that draw, but
yeah,
I suppose it allows them to compete against the best. And I think it was Anna Blankova who beat her.
And at the moment, Gauff's in a bit of trouble there. Double fault. He's pretty much looking in control of this this service game. It's now been a break point down. Centers it in the box. Cross court by Muchova. Cross court by Gauff. Slice by Muchova. Comes to the net. Goes through out wide. Goes straight to. Is it lands in? Lands in. Goes up the line again. Perfect from Gauff there. Really was on the ropes. Muchova was putting it this way and that, and Gauff was able to be able to see off that attack. Good work, Gauff.
Yeah, I really thought when Muchova came towards the net, I thought it was her point, but Gauff handled that really well, and nice forehand down the line passing shot.
Yeah, just able to see. I mean, it was the inside. It was the almost like the inside section of the court as well to go for.
Yeah, percentage wise, it wasn't high, but she really got it perfect. But that was not so perfect.
All those double faults that plagued her in previous matches they're back. Like a bad penny or a bad smell, as they say, they are back. Backhand by Muchova, backhand by Gauff, backhand by Muchova, forehand by Gauff. Each just trading at the back of the court at the moment. Backhands and forehands. Cool. Nice cross court by Gauff. Slice by Muchova. Cross court by Gauff. Down the line by Muchova. Up the line by Gauff. Slice by Muchova. Just slicing, dicing.
It keeps going. It just keeps going.
It does just keep going. This is a rally length and a half. Up the line by Gauff. Up in the air by Muchova. Ball lands. Gauff goes for the smash and wins the point. What a rally to win there from Gauff.
Yeah, she must have been feeling intense because it was just keep coming back. And the stat there saying that in 1,000 events is a very specific stat, but in 1,000 events, Gauff is the most break points out of any other player this year.
Oh yeah, I mean we know. I think we certainly noticed that in the semi-final against Badosa. What was it? It was like 15 break points you saved in that match. Yeah. Oh no, hang on. It was Badosa who saved a ton of break points, and it was Gauff who gave them up a lot. Scratch that.
Yeah, Gauff saying that Muchova's trying to draw Coco to the net. Yeah, I think the variety is definitely what she's going for, trying to mix things up. Because the first set was never going to help her.
Now, the one thing Coco needs to do on this juice side is actually make a ball in play.
Yes.
Which she does. Oh, just lands in. The slice of the line. Backhand. Slice. Coco comes to the net. Goes up the line. Muchova. Oh, it just lands in. Gauff was unable to reach that.
I think this game is producing the best tennis of this match so far. Both players playing really well now, other than the double faults. But when the rallies actually get going, and it's actually shown there that Muchova's hit the most winners in this tournament, 145.
Which is an excellent rank. Which is an excellent stat to have. Gauff here really under the cosh. Well, Muchova's coming in on a first serve and wins the point.
Yeah, I mean that is much more like it from Muchova. She's really seems to have taken a decisive, a decision to change up the tactics and really take it to Gauff rather than sort of reacting to what Gauff was doing. And that's what's got her to this position in the final. I mean, Muchova's good on all surfaces, but I do think Muchova's game is perfect for Wimbledon and the grass courts.
Well, you can imagine her doing incredibly well at Wimbledon. Once she gets to the ability to properly have a go at the grass season.
Yeah, because I think she has reached the quarterfinals before, but that was kind of before she's found this even new higher level of form. So
yeah,
I feel like the sky's the limit, especially with Wimbledon perhaps producing some of the more surprising winners in the last few years.
It's been the most open.
Yeah,
I think of the Grand Slam, but it's a weird one because it's a tournament that certainly on the men's side has basically been quite religious in sticking to the absolute best, winning it all the time. You really have to be, I think the last sort of surprise-ish winner you could say would be Goran Ivanovic, and that was back in 2001. Would you say?
Yeah.
That was on the men's side, whereas on the women's side, there has been so many different winners of the tournament. I think the last time somebody's actually defended it was probably Serena Williams back in the mid-teens.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, Krejcikova was she's obviously won a Grand Slam before, but you just never know when she's gonna have those weeks. But when she does have those weeks, she's kind of unstoppable. And Gauff is asking me in the chat who I think would win between Muchova and Krejcikova on grass. And I think if I was to guess on just like average form, I would probably say Muchova because I find Krejcikova difficult because you never know which Krejcikova you're going to get. But Krejcikova at Wimbledon this year would probably beat Muchova right now. I would say Muchova 8 times out of 10 or 4 times out of 5.
We'll find a denomination of denomination of numbers.
My maths A level coming in there. That's a bit of Gauff doing what Muchova's been doing there, coming to the net.
She just come to the net. Muchova goes down the line. Gauff, though, just about keeps it in. Good work there. I think as Super Dave is pointing out, potentially a momentum shift has happened.
Yeah, 16 times out of 20, Ghost.
Which then relates 16 out of 20, as I'm just trying to break that down, would be basically like 4 out of every 5 times it's been successful.
Maybe that's a bit high.
Oh yeah, giving Gauff an opening here. Giving Gauff an opening.
Yeah, producer making a good point there that Muchova's only have once this match, and
that was at the start of the set.
So it's not really been working in Muchova's favour, but then she has played a lot better already in the second set.
Or twice, yeah. I think it was once in the first set and once in the second set. She's held serve.
That first set kind of felt like a blur in terms of Muchova's game.
It was like it started and then Gauff won it 6-1.
Yeah.
Big, strong backhand from Gauff. She's already in control of this point. Muchova's in the back. Defensively goes to the slice, brings Gauff forward. Backhand, forehand by Gauff. Slice by Muchova. Gauff gets to it and puts it away to get the break back. So we are back on serve.
Yeah, it was not the best drop shot there from Muchova.
It just seemed like I'm struggling here. I'll just go for the drop shot and hope she puts it in the net.
Yeah, and you can't do that against a player as good a mover as Gauff is.
Yeah, as Super Dave says, it was a bit of a bailout shot, really. She wasn't really building anything that she wanted in that rally.
which kind of shows that although she's won these first 2 games in the second set and broke for the first time, I don't think Mukova's still feeling comfortable against Gauff yet. Gauff is quite a relentless player in terms of she just does not stop fighting for every ball. And that is one of her best qualities.
Well, let's see if Gauff can improve on her which is still not enough for, what's the word I'm trying to find? She's still trying to see if she can bring a higher level to make sure she holds serve here. Whereas I think Muchova, we're hoping that she can continuously keep on, making hay in the service game of Gauff, especially if she's unable really to hold serve herself.
Yeah, I was trying to work out who that picture was, and our producer just said it's Laura Siegemund going to the snooker that's also on at the same time in Wuhan. It's definitely not on my bingo card either.
Laura Siegemund is a big snooker player or a big snooker watcher.
Who would have known? Because I noticed every time I was trying to look at information about the Wuhan Open, it kept coming up with snooker, and I had to like Wuhan Open tennis. It was so I learned they're taking place at the same time.
Yes, snooker's gone quite big in China. They have a few decent Chinese snooker players as well.
Yeah, I'm not a massive snooker watcher, I'll admit, but I do know that they have some talents. Muchova can't get her racket on that.
Damien, it says Damien's a snooker fan.
Nice.
That's good. It's all got. What sports do you like then, Matt? As we're on the and also John, let us know any other sports that you're a big fan of, barring football as well.
I mean, yeah, I'm very basic football, but as a Coventry City fan, that's quite a loose definition of fan of football at the moment. To be honest, I kind of like most sports. I think, especially when there's the Olympic tag over it. The Olympics, I'm a fan of every sport that ever existed. I'm just invested in everything.
Is that when you become like an expert in Taekwondo for like that 1 week? Like, what do you mean that wasn't a headshot? That of course that hit their head.
It's really weird that you say that because Taekwondo is always the sport that I get groped for no reason, and I never watch any of the time. And yeah, I do enjoy a bit of Taekwondo.
Went off like WWE. Okay, so John's just football and tennis with a little bit of not Formula One anymore. So you're saying you're quite basic. You're just sort of football and tennis.
Well, yeah, kind of every sport I have some interest in terms of knowing what's going on. But as a watcher, it's mainly football and tennis, but mostly tennis these days because it's on all the time. What about you?
Yeah, so football, tennis. Mainly tennis, of course. I think as a real tennis, I'm talking tennis channel.
Yeah.
I still like Formula One, and I still watch it as much as I can. It's a good change up. I'm a massive Hamilton fan, and I have been since 2007. Nice. So it's so I'm not one of these new people that came along because of the TV show. Even if you did, fantastic, stick around. But ever since Lewis came on the scene in 2007, I'm like, I started watching it and I really enjoyed that. And also bizarrely this year got into the darts, I think because of Luke Littler.
Yeah, I think Luke Littler has brought in a lot of darts fans, and to be honest, I actually stopped watching darts as much recently, but I had a phase of like being very invested in darts, and I always watch the World Championships. It feels like Christmas when the World Championships are on.
It is, isn't it? That's certainly that feeling at Christmas is also quite. I mean, what was it? When I was like much younger and like when I was a child or whatnot, and I only had like free TV and Lakeside, the darts event that always took place then, I would always watch that every like January because it was it was free, it was on TV. And so I get in that way. But then, I watched the World Championships for the first time this year because of Luke Littler. And I was like, wow, this is excellent. And, certainly given the fact that, we've got, as tennis fans, the Australian Open tennis for us finishes usually, or the Australian summer of tennis usually finishes around about midday our time. To be able to have that in the evening, to be able to watch, was certainly a breath of fresh air, really.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I can't invest myself in too many sports because I could if I wanted to, and if I didn't invest myself, if I invest myself in too many sports, I would never see the light of day, and so that it's better for my well-being that I just stick to tennis.
No, indeed. I mean, like I said, and then also the Olympics is always a fun one to get into for once every 4 years, and the Paralympic Games as well, which I get into quite a fair bit.
Yeah. So
I mean, I just love the fact that for 2 whole days during certainly the afternoon session, the main afternoon session on Channel 4 for the Olympics, they had the wheelchair doubles and the wheelchair singles for Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, I loved it when Alfie Hewitt won Wimbledon this year because he'd been so close before, and he's finally got himself over the line.
It was excellent. I mean, I was really glad it wasn't Oda on the other side of the net first of all, because he's now Oda is probably going to be one of the greatest players, certainly of the men's wheelchair game. Yes. Or is on track to be. So Alfie really, it feels a bit like Roddick when it came to him winning his first Grand Slam at the US Open. It's like you have a very small window in which you're going to have the opportunity to pick up a Grand Slam in before a much better younger player is going to sweep the board for probably 5+ years. So for him to get it over the line there and get that sorted, and then to also get his gold medal as well in the doubles. I mean, it was a shame he couldn't win the singles, and realistically he should have won the singles certainly when he had match point. But still, to be able to get that gold medal, still absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and that was a very poor game from Muchova with a double fault to finish it, and Gauff is now gone from a breakdown to a break up in the matter of 3 games, and it feels like Muchova had that little momentum swing, very short-lived, and now it's come straight back to Gauff. Our producer mentioned that Damien is also a darts fan, so maybe he's invested in every sport.
Yeah, I saw Damien took a photo.
I mean, what must Muchova be thinking right now when she sat down at the change event? I just don't know. She probably thought that she was getting herself into it, and now it's just like all that momentum's been lost.
Yeah, I've just got the at the moment, because I'm guessing you're watching it through Sky, Matt.
Yes.
I've currently got like the images of the Wu versus Alcaraz match from Shanghai. Like it's free all at the moment.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised by Yibing Wu because I was a bit concerned that he was just going to keep having injury setback after injury setback. So it's been a good week for him already.
It was one of the most bizarrest finals I think I've ever watched last year with that final against Isner in Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was just absolutely wild. And there was times in which Isner was serving for the championship and Wu somehow managed to get a return back.
Yeah, it's matches like that are always so bizarre, but they're also quite kind of fun in their own way because it's literally everyone knows what the whole mission of every point is. It's just to get the serve back.
Just get it back, and he'll miss somewhere.
Muchova does get the first point on Gauff serve, though.
She does. This is now the big pressure for Gauff. Is she able, she holds her next free service game. She's won the championship. So almost as if that finishing line, she can now start. She's turned the corner and she can see it. And
it does feel as though Muchova is going to have a lot of trouble with holding her own serve, given the recent.
I would certainly say if Coco realistically needs to hold here and certainly break in the next 1 or 2 Muchova service games.
I mean, Muchova's win percentage on her first serve is currently at 48 compared to 81 on Gauff's. It's a dramatic difference, and you can't win when the difference is that big.
Yeah. Just to answer your question, Super Dave, is Carlos still wearing a salmon tank top? He still is wearing a salmon tank top. Even though Nike have created these fun little shirts for both Sinner and Alcaraz, with like Shanghai 001, and like Sinner's got one of like a fox with a cap on, and Alcaraz has some brick walls or whatnot on his. It's really quite artsy. As a sort of tops to put on after the match finishes.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it when kit wearers kind of have a bit of uniqueness. It's my biggest pet peeve when players on the opposite side of the net are wearing exactly the same kit, like
to
the letter. Especially when they kind of have similar builds and similar sort of hair, etc. It's really difficult to tell sometimes if you're not focusing.
I saw that most prevalently. It was the first round of the French Open this year, and it was Paula Badosa versus Katie Bolter. Both women, similar height, similar blonde hair. Both wore the visor cap as well, and they both wore the exact same sports kit.
I remember that as well.
Carry on.
It was a tricky watch.
That was a very tricky watch, and of course there was floodlights shining on them as well, so it kind of it kind of even blurred it slightly more because it was late at night. As Gauff holds there to make it 4-2.
I think it was actually quite a good match, but just the whole trying to work out who was the tricky part.
Yeah, it's Super Dave saying as well that he saw that one too, and it was so annoying.
Yeah, at least in this one, the kits are very different. That is a nice point there from Muchova, but she does look a bit lost, a bit almost dejected of how this match has gone.
Yeah, I mean the one thing she's got to remember at the moment, she's only one break behind, and this is somebody who is prone to lapses in levels.
Yeah, and she's kind of got to tell herself that she went from a breakup to a breakdown very quickly, and why couldn't she do the same to Gauff?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, Gauff won 4 games in a row. If you win 4 games in a row, Muchova, you win the set.
Absolutely.
What are we on to? Over 200 viewers. Excellent. Great. If you haven't already, do like this video and subscribe if you haven't. We've kind of gained, since the start of the show, 8 subscribers, which I think is the fastest amount of growers I've seen in a non-Grand Slam stream.
Nice. We're doing a good job.
Doing a good job. John will be happy with us.
Yes.
We've got Catherine in the chat. Thanks for commenting, Catherine. I don't think I've seen you so far today. Saying Muchova deserves to win, but probably tired after beating Sabalenka and Zheng. Unlike Gauff again on an easy draw. Oh, that's interesting to suggest Gauff had an easy draw. But you certainly go on, Matt. You got any views on that?
I don't know if I'd agree with easy draw. I mean, I suppose her quarterfinal on paper was easy against a qualifier, but it wasn't obviously easy because A, she lost the first set, and B, her opponent had reached the quarterfinals from qualifying. But Osaka and Badosa, I think, are very tricky opponents. But yeah, I would agree, Catherine, that Muchova probably has had the trickier draws and has probably handled her draw better as well.
Muchova's saying, I really misjudged Coco. I did not expect this degree of domination. I tend to agree.
Yeah, me too.
Was that out? That looked out to me.
Yeah, Muchova was really in control of this game, and now it's
Gauff's now got a break. Yeah, and you would say it's good night Vienna if she does get this double break.
I think so.
I've no idea where that saying's from. I just heard it and it sounds awesome.
I'm just gonna nod and agree that it's a saying.
Goes cross court. Cross court again. Cross court by Gauff. Muchova's really in control here. Up the line by Gauff, just at the knees of Muchova. Goes for but doesn't get it over the net. And you feel as though she got that forehand across the net. It was probably curtains. We are to juice.
The margins, and if Muchova goes on to hold now, maybe Gauff will be thinking about that shot.
Yeah, if that could be a sliding doors moment, as they say. Goes cross court, hits the net. We'll just talk through this point here because this could be a very critical point in the context of this match, or certainly this game, this service game from Muchova. She wins this one. She keeps the pressure on Gauff as she hits a double fault, and so Muchova does a Gauff and hits a double fault. But yeah, you say if Muchova wins this service game, she keeps the pressure on Gauff. Only one break. She's breathing down her neck. But if Gauff wins this, she is going to come out with an insurance break to be able to try and serve for the match and get this done in pretty quick succession, potentially under an hour and a half. Oh, hits the net there. Brilliant serve there by Muchova. And she ran towards the net to put the pressure on Gauff as well in terms of trying to hit an outright winner. I think Ghost has a saying he wants you to use, Matt, for every time they hit a good winner.
Yeah, I think that might become quite annoying quite quickly, but I appreciate the suggestion.
That's cool. Backhand into net by Gauff. So that makes it advantage Muchova.
The more this game goes on, the more I think a hold for Muchova could be quite big.
Yeah.
Because the pressure will then be on Gauff. She's got to think about perhaps where she could have got the break. And I mean, I think Gauff can deal with that pressure, but it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not at all. And you realistically want that double break. You want that insurance. Okay, from a competitive edge for us as a viewer, it's not okay. Maybe you're an American viewer and you love Gauff, or you're a massive Gauff fan from outside the States. Then you'd want Gauff to win this as quickly as possible. But as us as neutrals, we don't necessarily want this to be done in this early. Oh. Is that a shank backhand? Cross court by Gauff. Cross down the line. Attempt by Muchova. Hits the hologic board. And we're back to juice. Gauff is saying, I plan to stick around in your service game for as long as possible. I'm going nowhere. Catherine saying that Muchova looks a bit weary, potentially. Well, certainly a bit lost. Up the line there by Gauff. Down cross court by Muchova. Up the line with Gauff. Into the net. Oh, that was a dig from the deep.
Yeah, that's a really nice volley.
That was absolutely brilliant. Right to the toes of Muchova, who was literally on top of the net and able to basically dink it over with a brilliant drop shot. Gauff unable to get anywhere near that, and she applauds that ball. Goes down the tee, forehand by Gauff into the net, or it was just slightly a lot wide.
I mean,
I thought that was
whiskers,
in. But
it was very, very close.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could get less than a pen's width in that gap. Goes up the line, backhand by Muchova. They're all going down that part of the court. Brings Gauff forward. Gauff goes for the drop. Goes for the sliced backhand, but it goes long of the line, and Muchova holds on. She ain't done yet.
It's a big hold from Muchova there.
She is still in this. And then goes and asks the question to Coco, right, come out and serve for it. Or come out and keep your serve.
I mean, it sounds obvious, but the margins between going 5-2 and 4-3 is huge. Well, I mean, Gauff had a chance, but Muchova held strong and Gauff didn't take it. I think there was 2 double break opportunities in that game.
It was. Yeah, like you say, it's all it takes is just for one bad service game from Gauff, and this match or this set is open again.
Definitely. It's interesting that obviously this week we've said about how long this tournament has felt, given it's been extended to 12 days, but next week it's going to be very fast-paced in Wuhan, just a 1-week tournament, and these players have got a very quick turnaround. Particularly, I'm assuming Muchova is also playing, but won't have a bye.
Oh, she won't, will she? She'll be expected to play. Expected to play first round. So they'll be kind enough to probably give her a Tuesday start.
Yeah,
maybe.
Tuesday.
I mean, can they do a Wednesday? No, they can't. It just doesn't work out because it's 6 rounds. Isn't it? 6 rounds that draw.
Oh, let me see who her first round draw is. Mayuka Uchijima, which is not the worst draw in the world, I'll be honest. But
who?
Mayuka Uchijima, she's a Japanese player. She's
is she the one that won Prague once? Was that something else?
I think that was Nao Hibino.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
I think Uchijima's had quite a good year on the ITF circuit, and wow, and had like a 19 winning streak. I think she played Sabalenka at Wimbledon. Uchijima.
Yeah. Oh, what a backhand from Gauff! She was really up against it. Cross court on a run backhand. Oh my days! This is championship winning stuff from the American.
I mean, the first set was very impressive from Gauff, but this set has been fun.
Actually, no look as well. I mean, it's like she's playing some sort of video game. This isn't Call of Duty where you're doing no scope, 360 shots or whatever, as she just did there on a tennis version.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to talk about Muchova's like skill and shot making, Gauff has produced plenty herself today.
Dave almost broke Muchova's knees there. Yeah, Muchova did not expect that at all. Maybe a down the line, not a pat behind on the forehand. I'm still living in that point. Jeez.
I think Muchova's as well. Let's just say it has not been as high quality since that point.
Not good. Double fault there from Gauff. She's still 30-15 up, so she's still the person in control in this service game. She knows if she just gets the next 2 points in a row, she'll then tick her scoreboard over to 5. There she goes. Oh, Muchova comes straight towards it. Gauff, though, smashes it away. It was a little bit of a weird choice there from Muchova on a first serve to basically, she did a bit of a, what was it, that saber that, as was nicknamed by Roger Federer, the sneak attack by Federer. Really coming to the net on the first serve, which is a bit mental. But, great work there from Gauff, able to see that point off. One more point, and she's on to 5. And she decides to hit the net instead. Goes cross court, forehand by Muchova, forehand by Gauff, cross up the line by Muchova, forehand by Gauff. Oh, drop shot by Muchova. It is a terrible drop shot. Nowhere near, just about touches the middle part of the net as it falls down on her side. Yikes. She shouldn't have gone for that one. And at the moment, Coco Gauff is 1 game away from a potential WTA 1000 title, second of her career.
There's a great reaction there from Gauff after not taking a double break.
Yeah, and we've only got an hour and a baker's dozen on the clock.
And if Gauff does win this title, she will go up to 4th in the world, overtaking Paolini and Rebecca.
Which is huge, because if she gets to 4th in the world, it means that it's back at slams. She'll then at least avoid Coco and Arina Sabalenka and I was not saying Naomi Osaka. That's a throwback to like 3 years ago. Arina Sabalenka and Iga Świątek at least avoid them again until the semi-finals, instead of what happened a lot in 2023, which was Gauff versus Świątek in the quarterfinals a lot.
Yeah.
Muchova gets the first point of her service games. Gauff, she would really like to probably get the break here, get it done here. And she's 15 all at the moment, so she's on track. She's on track. She'd love to get it done on the Muchova service game. Don't have the pressure of trying to serve it out on your own. As you say, a win here for Coco would pretty much get her qualification for Riyadh sorted this week. Yeah, she'll still be 500 points behind the normal automatic qualification, but you'd be very surprised if she didn't then get in.
It would take a miracle, I think.
Okay, second serve here for Muchova. Goes cross court. Forehand by Gauff. Other line by Muchova. Forehand by Gauff, but the lob. Gauff really going for the lobs here. Keep the ball high and a lot of energy, and it worked like a dream. Worked like a not absolute dream, as Muchova sprays a forehand long. And now Gauff is 2 points away. 2 points away from the title.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I did not have Gauff in consideration for the title this week, but she's really impressed me.
I would have had Sabalenka any day of the week to have won this one.
Mm.
And even in this final. Karen?
I think even just she really should have lost 2 matches this week. Osaka.
At the moment, she is now 1 point away as Muchova hits a backhand into the tram lines. Rightio, I'm going to talk through this. Do not celebrate too much, Matt. If she does get to it, just so I can keep the suspense, I can build the tension.
I'm cool as
everyone. Cool as that's what I want to hear. Cool as a cucumber. So championship point here for Coco. Just getting shots of her, getting ready in position. Muchova goes cross court. Beforehand by Gauff. Backhand by Muchova long. And there we go. There we go. Coco Gauff picks up the WTA 1000 Beijing title after a season that has not gone well for her whatsoever. She's recently sacked her coach in Brad Gilbert, the person that helped her win her first ever Grand Slam title. Picked up this new mechanist, the mechanist as I'm calling him, coach, to try and fix her serve and her forehand. It's still ongoing. There are still major issues, but she was able to stay solid as a rock this week, and has managed to win this title. Something that will at least be a bit of certainly a bit more of a comfort to her this year. So making this season look as though it had some success connected to it. And as I think I said at the start of the show, Iga Świątek, she didn't have a great middle part of the year in 2023, but was able to come to Beijing and was able to win the title here to really give her that momentum to go into the 2024 season. Have we seen the beginnings of something similar take place in Beijing?
Yeah, I mean, if she goes on to have a really successful Asian, well, she's already has had a successful Asian swing, could potentially do well in Wuhan as well, and then go on to potentially even win the WTA Finals, then the way you look at Gauff's season will be very, very different. So it would be interesting to see. But I think this has really, really impressed me this week. I mean, she looked down now against Naomi Osaka, looked down now against Badosa. It was a set down to Stardom Saver. and today was like unbelievable. She like destroyed the best player this week at the tournament, and yeah, like really, really impressive.
It is. I mean, like we're saying, okay, there was still some issues to do with double faults in this match, but the way in which her forehand was working, she lived with Muchova as Muchova was changing up lots of areas of the game in terms of bringing her to the net, using the slice. Gauff lived with that and lived with it basically, to the extent in which she actually took control of the situation so many times. Really, really strong on her opponent's service game is exactly what you want to see. With so many breaks of serve against Muchova. And okay, Muchova doesn't have the strongest serve, especially comparative to whether it be a Sabalenka or a Rybakina. But certainly as a player that to be able to break a serve is no mean feat. I mean, it does take some to be able to get that sorted. So she'll be unbelievably impressed with the fact that she was able to get this victory, get this title. Certainly after I mean, you can talk about, as we say, sliding doors moments when it comes to the entirety of the tournament. But realistically, should have lost to Osaka before Osaka retired in that match, and certainly in that Paula Badosa match, that was another one as well that that she realistically was in the position where she was about to lose. So to be able to come through all of that and win the title, to pick up, and WTA 1000 titles are serious titles to win. A bit below the Grand Slams, these are the titles that you want to be picking up on the regular tour basis. And she's done just that with one more potential WTA 1000 title to potentially try and win in Wuhan next week.
Yeah. I mean, I just looked at the draw, and she obviously has a bye to the second round as the fourth seed, and has either got Aisling Kruger or Victoria Tomova. So it's not a bad draw at all, and it might allow her to work her way into that tournament.
Yeah, and they'll be kind to her, and she'll have a Wednesday start for that one. If she so wishes to want to go play it, she has every right and justification. She wishes to just to say, yeah, peace out. I'll take next week off, and I'll maybe play like 1-500 somewhere just to keep me warm for Riyadh. But no, it's really strong going for that one there. Do you have any final thoughts before we finish off today?
I mean, I think I'm just impressed, to be honest. I was not expecting this final to go the way it did at all. I was, if anything, probably expecting it to go the other way. But Gauff's final record is very, very impressive, as we previously mentioned, and her game was on form today.
It was on form, and if you're, like you say, if you're a Coco fan that's listening in, you're gonna be excited. You're gonna go, do you know what? My lass is she is she is still there. She is still prevalent in certainly this year's worth of events, and a very exciting run potentially towards Riyadh, where as we said, Wuhan tends to be a tournament that favors Sabalenka because she's won it the last couple of times it was played. But and will probably still be a favourite going into Riyadh, from Wuhan to Riyadh. That potentially Gauff is putting herself in contention to have a strong showing at the finals event. So you never know what can happen there. Well, all I have to say is thanks everyone for tuning in, that commented in the chat. I know we have Ghost, Super Dave, Catherine. Thank you everyone for those who have tuned in to sort of listen to us. And listen out. Main thing, of course, off the back of this, listen out to Nick's WTA review show, where he'll go a little bit more in depth in terms of the way in which Coco managed to win this one and what this means for the rest of the world. It's going to be a very interesting notch. I know Nick is probably going to be very pleased that Coco is almost back in terms of being very competitive this year. And goodbye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.